Hello YouTube, this is Skip, coming to you live, straight out of Real 6 Aquatic Kennels. Here in part 3 of my video series, where I expose the truth about crossbreeds, mixed breeds, and hybrids, we're going to go over some terms that I frequently use throughout this video series, and some definitions of those terms. But first, check out this clip when I visit the local dog park in my area and talk briefly about how some of these terms that we are now using, in my opinion, incorrectly came about. So check it out. As you can see, I'm here at the dog park. I know you're wondering, hey little fella, hey. Why is it that I'm here at the dog park when we're discussing mainly tropical fish? And the reason is, this isn't just about tropical fish. This is about the terms that I feel that a lot of guys in this hobby are using loosely and in general. So I want to double down on these terms and definitions that we're using. We have a lot of different dog breeds, and I put emphasis on the word dog breeds out here at the dog park. We also have quite a few what they call crossbreeds and mixed breeds as well. And these terms are prevalent in the dog community. This is one of the places the discussion of crossbreeds, mixed breeds, and hybrids have taken place. I'm shooting in this location so that a lot of you guys can truly get a feel of what I'm trying to express to you all. It's not just about the tropical fish community or the dog community. It's about all communities and some of the terms and definition that we are misusing. Okay, while I'm here at one of my local ponds, this is one of the stops I frequent from time to time when I like to think, clear my mind. Check out this definition of crossbreed. if you will, check out this definition of mixed breed as we move forward in this video series. Check it out.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
Okay, aquatic community, as we move forward in part 3 of this video series, I want you guys to check out this clip explaining the difference and characteristics of some of the terms that we use, mainly subspecies, race, and breed. But before that, let's talk a little bit about it before I show you this clip. When we are discussing race issues, when we talk about African Americans, Asian Americans, or Caucasians, we don't refer to the different groups if they decided to procreate. We don't use terms like hybrids. We don't call other human beings hybrids. And some people may say, well, human beings can't hybridize because human beings are super species. Therefore, we can't not procreate with another species. And that's true. Naturally, you can't. I don't know what type of gene slamming people are doing nowadays. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in certain countries, but I know naturally that is correct. We're unable to hybridize outside our species, our race, meaning the human race, Homo sapiens sapiens. But we do have different variations of race. I just mentioned it to you. Caucasians, Asians, whites, Latinos. African Americans. There are different variations of the human race. Keyword, human race. Just like when we talk about the family pet, Rover, or whatever you want to call your dog. We call them breeds, different breed types. And you can crossbreed, just like you can have a interracial relationship with another variation of the human race, such as, let's say, an Asian American and an African American. Two different variations. If they was to procreate and create Tiger Woods, we wouldn't call Tiger Woods a hybrid. We wouldn't call him a crossbreed. Some of us may, but you know how some ignorant people are. We would call that an interracial relationship. He called himself a Caucasian or whatever. I don't know how he pronounced it. We'll call him something other than or use that term hybrid. Just think about it. The word subspecies, race, and breeds cover the same span and spectrum. It's like an umbrella. They mean almost exactly the same thing. We just utilizing them depending on the species that we're talking about or discussing. So check out this clip and we'll come right back. before we head back to the aquarium building, I want to say this. Please feel free to pause this video at any time to read and comprehend all the different clips of the definitions of the terms that I've been using throughout this video series, so that you can have a true understanding of those terms and see why I believe that a lot of them are being misused. It's a beautiful day with a beautiful scenery. I love fall. So let's head back to the aquarium building and wrap up this video so we can move on to part 4. Okay, aquatic community, let's wrap up this video. So we went over all the different terms and definitions. Hopefully you guys were able to read through it carefully. Now you know at any time you can pause this video and just read through the information that's presented. So let's sum it up. Subspecies. A subspecies is a species that is unable to stand alone. Stand alone, meaning it is not different enough from the original host species to be considered its own species. And when we talk about race, and when we talk about breeds, we're pretty much talking about subspecies. We're talking about variations, different types, the same thing. And when you use the term crossbreed, it is applicable to crossbreeding subspecies of the same species, or crossbreeding breeds, like the different dog breeds. You can also mixed breed. And what I mean by mixed breed is 3 or more subspecies, breeds, or race into one. Tiger Woods will be considered scientifically a mixed breed. A lot of us here in America that was brought over from Africa will be considered crossbreeds because we have a lot of European blood in us. You can barely find anyone that is a pure descent of a race. You have to go to the homeland. Most of us are mixed up here, especially in the United States of America, but we don't call ourselves hybrids because you can't hybridize within a species. That's why I disagree with using that term loosely. When you crossing different variations and types of subspecies and breeds, that's just it. You're crossbreeding. You're mixed breeding. You're not hybridizing. Hybridizing is breeding outside the race. That means you will have to breed outside the human race. You have to breed a human with a baboon or a chimpanzee in order to have a hybrid. But when you have a situation where it's an interracial relationship, you have an African and a European or Asian procreate, that is considered crossbreeding. And if you have an African Asian European mix, meaning the person has European blood in them, African blood in them, Asian blood in them, that would be considered a mixed race or mixed breed. But it's not a hybrid, because at the end of the day you still have a human being that Tiger Woods is of the human race, regardless of how many different types he bred with, that was bred to create him. He's still a member of the human race. Regardless of how many types of Midas subspecies, at the end of the day, you still have a Midas. Some variation. We have an orange one here off of Smoky Miss Pearl with its offsprings, and all of these are still barred. Some of them are starting to peel, but most of them are barred. Are you telling me if the peel variation breeds with the bar variation, that's a hybrid? No, that's a crossbreed, because it's a cross line breed. It's bred with a different variation of itself, but it's still an almost identical copy of the original form. It's not different enough to be a standalone species to be considered a hybrid. I mentioned that I have some squirrels on my property. In the squirrel family, they had one black squirrel. The squirrel is black as black can be. And its sibling is brown grayish color like regular squirrels. Did those squirrels create a new species of squirrel because it's a different color? Come on, use your common sense. I've seen albino squirrels. I've seen white squirrels before. If you take a white squirrel and a black squirrel and they procreate, did they just commit the cardinal sin? Did they just hybridize? Did they just create another species of squirrel? No, they just created another color variant of a squirrel. I don't care if that squirrel is black and white like a Dalmatian or look like a skunk. It's still a squirrel at the end of the day. So that is not a hybrid. But if you take that squirrel and breed it with a fox, then it's a hybrid. Those are two separate species altogether. Or a raccoon, or a possum, or some type of rodent, a rat, that's a hybrid, because they're two separate species. Those species are different enough from that other species to be considered a standalone species. This is not. Here, let's turn on the light. I don't want to disturb them too much because they have a lot of fry in the bottom of this rock. But these are chanchos from Lake Apoyo. They're Midas subspecies. If I was to cross, which I did before, a chancho with one of my bar Midas, that would be considered a crossbreed, not a hybrid, because at the end of the day, you still have a Midas subspecies. This species is not different enough to be its own species. Although we give it a name, that's a descriptive name, so that we can have some type of order and not chaos. But they're subspecies, people, and the information is constantly changing and being revised on the internet now as we speak. A few years back, there was no such thing as the term subspecies. There was no such thing as a Midas species complex. It's the Amphilophus complex. What the heck the Midas species complex come from? But the people started to realize that all these are different variations of the same species. Just different collection points and evolved in different environments. Therefore, different variant. Now, make sure you guys check out part 4 of this video series when I close out. And we're going to talk about hybrids. And you know that can be controversial. Or is it really controversial, or is it this? It's just that the truth hurts some people. People aren't used to change. They want to relish in that same old recycled information being served doo-doo on a plate. Come on, people. Wake up. Use your brain. So I had a few guys ask me some questions. They asked me if flower horns were considered Amphilophus, or do they have a species complex. So we're going to get into that too in part 4. That's going to be a whopper. You know that. I know a lot of you guys want to hear my answer on that one, or my opinion about that particular question. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed part 3. I hope you're enjoying this series. Rate, comment, subscribe as usual. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter. Skip Smith on Facebook, Twitter, Real Hard Cichlids. I'm out.